That was a very nice welcome. Thank you. So I'm sure some of you are already familiar with the Humane Society here in town. It was founded in 1978 when the city of Moscow Pound decided they wanted to find a way to better what their practices they were already using. And so they teamed up with the Humane Society. And in the 90s, our building that we're at now was built. We're kind of bursting at the seams, but we're making do with what we have. A little bit of background on my involvement with the shelter is I started in 2004. I just graduated high school. I came to Moscow. I was going to school to be an art teacher, started working at the shelter on the weekends, and instantly fell in love with it. It's one of the best jobs I think I've ever had. It's rewarding in more ways than I think I could ever put into words. I get to see how much our community cares about animals and also each other. I'm sure when you hear Humane Society, you're thinking, this is all about the animals, but really, I've got to meet some really amazing people through working at the shelter and see what animals do for everyone. So, we've done quite a bit of changes since I came back in March of 2017. I'm excited to talk about some of the programs that we've had for a very long time, and also some new ones that the new operations manager, Sierra Beeler, and I have implemented at the shelter. One of the probably programs that I'm the most passionate about would be our spay-neuter assistance program. I'm sure you've all had pets or know people who've had pets. And pets are great, but sometimes their behaviors when they're not spayed or neutered, not so great, a little embarrassing at times. And also we have a huge pet overpopulation crisis, not just here locally, but nationwide. I'm sure some of you have heard of some of the cat issues going on in the county. A lot of that is from cats not being spayed or neutered. So one of the things we like to do with our SNAP program is when we're out in the county, we bring our applications with us, and that helps reduce the cost of the spay or neuter. This past year, we were actually fortunate enough to be awarded a grant from the Giving Circle, which helped us reach even more animals. And some of the times, we were able to cover the entire cost of this spay or neuter for people who are known to us who come in for our pet pantry quite a bit. So it's a way to get where we need to be as a community, where we don't have an abundance of unwanted litters. The SNAP program is actually funded just through pet banks that you see around town at local businesses. That is the only funding that that program gets. And so we don't get to help as many animals as we would like, but we're hoping we can find ways to expand that program and get more funds coming in for it. So with our SNAP, we get to meet, families that just need a little bit more help with their animals. Another way we can help them is with our pet food pantry. When Sierra and I took over, we would give out dog and cat food, and that was about it. We've been able to expand that to pet-related supplies. So maybe you need some help with cat litter that month. So our goal with this is to help families who need the supplies to keep their animals have a way to get them. So we've gone from dry dog and cat food to wet food, litter. Sometimes we have cat scratching posts that we can send out to the community if people have cats that are being a little destructive in their homes but they can't afford a cat scratchy, in a way to help them be able to keep their pet without declawing or kicking the cat outside. So we're really passionate about turning the Humane Society into more of a community center where people who are having issues with their pets can turn to so that they can keep them in their homes. And our pet food pantry is all donation based as well. So anything that comes in from the community can go right back out to them. Some of the stuff that's donated we do keep to use for the animals at the Humane Society, but most of it we do try to get back into the community. Another one of the programs that we've expanded on quite a bit is our microchipping program. So for those of you who aren't familiar with microchips, it's about the size of a grain of rice, and it goes in between the shoulder blades. Some crazy statistics with this is that, so if a dog or a cat comes into the Humane Society, or just nationwide, that isn't chipped, the likelihood of a dog that isn't microchipped getting back home is only 22%. But if they have a microchip, that jumps all the way up to 58%. So Microchips really help dogs get home. Cats, it's a little bit even crazier to me. It's 2% get reunited with owners if they don't have a chip, but it jumps all the way up to 23% if they have a microchip. And we have seen that at the shelter. This year we've had 30 cats go back to their families, and that is a record year for us. And all of those 30 cats had a microchip. So microchipping is really beneficial to the community. It's beneficial to the animals. And Sierra and I saw that and we thought, okay, there's gotta be ways we can get this out there. And so we started doing microchip clinics on special days for us at the shelter, like St. Patrick's Day, we call St. Patrick's Day. And all cats can come in and get microchipped for $15. It covers the cost of the chip, and then the staff is just ready to help, ready to get animals microchipped. Another thing we do is if a stray dog or cat comes in, we offer that reduced cost to the owner. You know, sometimes when your pets get out, it's really scary, it's really alarming, and so we'll have a conversation about, okay, well, how did they get out? You know, most of the time, the animals that come in as strays, it's a weird fluke. The owners didn't see it coming. A cat that's been inside for 10 years takes opportunity one day, you know, out of their life, they decide, today's the day I'm gonna try to go outside, and then they end up with us, and we can get them chipped, so that hopefully, you know, 10 years down the road, if they decide to take a jaunt again, we can get them right back home. And we actually have had quite a few people take advantage of that, which is amazing for us. We really, really are passionate about permanent identification. We also do half-price microchips about a week before any time there's fireworks, because we see an awful lot of new stray dogs and kitties right around firework time. And so we're trying to help owners be able to get their pets back as quickly as possible. And we also have our volunteer program. So the volunteer program is one that I think really helps us see the importance of animals for people. When you hear volunteering at the Humane Society, you might think, oh, it's, you know, kids who have hours they need to get done for school, which that does happen quite a bit. But we also get to see people in our community who've gone through a great amount of trauma. We have people who come in because maybe they've just lost a parent, or they've gone through a traumatic divorce. They've gone through something just earth-shattering, and they come to the shelter because they need a way to be involved with something bigger than their grief that they're experiencing. So we make these really wonderful relationships with people who come in who just want to go in and sit and read to dogs, or they want to take our cats and go to our adoption counseling room and sit and just let them relax on their lap. It's great for the people and it's great for the animals. I think I think all the programs are my favorite program, but volunteer program really, really helps me stay connected with how important animals really are to people. Right now we have a couple of volunteers who had an illness or an injury so they can't come in to volunteer, and so we've been sending them pictures of what's going on with the animals, and their feedback is just, it makes us so proud to do what we're doing with the animals and getting to have those relationships and connections with people in the community that if I didn't work at the Humane Society, I really wouldn't get to have. And so it's really an honor and a privilege to be part of that program. Another way we expanded that program this year is with junior volunteers. And so we have kids who are 11 and up come in with their parents. They get to interact with the animals and they get to start learning the responsibilities of pet ownership. And it really helps them see what happens with animals when, you know, in the future, if they're an adult and they can't keep them. They get that aha moment of, you know, when I turn 18 and I get my first pet, if it gets to be too much and I just take them to a shelter, this is what it will be like for them. And so we're really, really passionate about getting kids in, going to classrooms, talking to them about this is why we treat animals the way we do, and this is why they're a lifelong commitment. This is how much responsibility it's going to take, and it's going to take this much time every day to spend with them. One of our favorite projects we're working on right now is with the Palouse Prairie Charter School. The 4th grade class came out. They all picked an animal to adopt. And here on the 19th, we'll have our showcase. All of the children will get up and they'll read the poem that they wrote from the animal's perspective that they adopted, and they'll have an artwork of either a painting or a drawing of the animal that they adopted. And we make so many great relationships with these kids. They start coming in after this project and they keep volunteering. They bring their families in. They get everyone they know involved with the Humane Society, and it's really quite wonderful. We also have a second grade class at McDonald's that every year does a plant sale, and then we go talk with the kids about this is what the Humane Society is, this is what we do, and this is why we want to get you involved. So that leads me to another great way to be involved is our foster program. So this is fairly new. Sierra and I started this last year. We were kind of, unsure how to get this rolling, and so we kick-started it with a kitten shower. So here, last March, we brought a whole bunch of bottle babies that we were raising, and we were able to interact with the community and say, every year, this many orphaned kittens come in for us to bottle raise, and so would you be interested in fostering them once they're off the bottle and just needing to get a little bit bigger before they weigh enough to be spayed or neutered. And so we were able to get kittens that would have usually been at the shelter when they're most vulnerable into people's homes so that we didn't have nearly the amount of kittens coming sick at the shelter. It was amazing. We made a lot of great relationships again, and more kittens were able to be saved this year than previous years. We didn't have to turn any away because we had so many people sign up to take kittens into their homes until they could be adopted. And a lot of the foster homes did find homes for the kittens that they were fostering, which was also great. So if you're ever interested in becoming a foster parent, let me know. I would be very happy to get you involved with that program. It has helped the Humane Society in so many ways. The staff didn't have nearly as many head checks to do. They didn't have nearly as many evaluations that they needed to go through. And our cost for pet supplies was way down, along with our medication costs. So the foster program, we're really excited to see it grow as time goes on. Another program that Sierra and I started is our barn budding program. So I think we all know about the feral cat problem that we're experiencing here in the city and as well as out in the county. So with this program, we match barn homes with feral cats that need to be relocated. So if somebody needs a barn cat or they're just looking for a working cat, we have a list that we keep their name and how to contact them and how many cats they're looking for. And as we find cats that are feral like wild feral, not just strays, but that we cannot touch at all, we line those up with the people. It's $25 for them to adopt these cats. They're spayed and neutered, tested, and vaccinated. We do ask that the people who participate in the Barn Buddy program try to catch the cats and get them back in for future vaccines, but we are understanding of, once you catch a feral cat once in a trap, you might not be able to do it again, so at least they have one round of vaccines, and sometimes that's all you can do, but we're slowly building on this program. We've been able to line up 15 cats with homes, so we're hoping over the next coming years we can really get this going so we can get more feral cats relocated to barns where they'll be safe and actually wanted where they are. So one of the ways that we fund all of these programs is through our events and our donations. Some of you might be curious how our funding happens. And so we are a municipality. We have a contract with the city and with the county. So our annual budget, we get 20% from the city of Moscow, but they also pay for our building, our utilities. So that's, the 20% really doesn't speak to the volume that the city helps us, because otherwise we would have to pay for our own building. We would have to pay for our own utilities. So on paper it's 20%, but in reality it's much more than that. And the county funds 9% of our annual budget.